back here on the Cover 3 podcast live from Big Ten Media Days. And it is a pleasure to be joined by Oregon head coach Dan Lanning. Dan, you took some time to hang out with us last year, and you're back. So I appreciate you tolerating our nonsense year over year. But it is an exciting time for the Oregon football program because you jumped in a new league and you won the daggum thing. But now there's more work to be done. How are you feeling as we get ready to open camp and really turn our attention on the 2025 season?
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited. New team, new challenges, new venues that we're going to get to go play in. Some places I haven't been. It's going to be a lot of fun. And the thing you don't know is probably what excites me the most. You know, what are the things that we're going to have to adapt to? What are the adjustments we'll make? Who will become the players that we think they can become? You know, so all those things are fun to figure out.
Dan, you lost Dylan Gabriel, obviously, who was the only quarterback I saw to throw a touchdown pass in Browns practice today, because apparently they're charting that.
People keep track of it pretty close.
What did you see out of your quarterback room, though, in practice last year that said, hey, we're not going to go in the transfer portal this year to bring somebody in for this cycle?
Yeah, I mean, one, you always want to be competitive, right? You always want to find guys that you think you can play winning football with. And I feel like we have a quarterback room that has that, right? Whether it's Dante, Austin, Luke Moga, like those are guys that all I think can go out there and win games for us and compete. There's a lot of confidence in the guys that we have on that side of the ball in general. So being able to take advantage of that and develop it within is something that's really important to us.
How's it been different for you guys, though, preparing for this year with that position? Because, you know, you've had Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel, two guys who had plenty of experience before they were suiting up for the Ducks.
Right.
But now you've got Dante, who did have some starting experience as a freshman, but overall it's not the same, 23, 24-year-old COVID quarterback anymore.
Right.
So how's the preparation been different this year for that?
The prep is not really that different. I think the piece that's different is you look at that room, there's not that senior mentor. There's not that guy that's been playing for a long time. So they've kind of become their own mentors. They're really supporting each other. They understand what it's supposed to look like because they've seen it at the highest level, and now they're activating that themselves.
When you arrived in Eugene, you understood what you needed to do in terms of recruiting and acquiring talent. We're at a point in your building process where some of those early classes are now going to be some of the leaders, and where you had to go out and get some guys from the portal for the early years. Mateo, the rest of those classes. Are you excited to see their growth? And who else do you think really might be bursting onto the scene with a lot of opportunities, snaps, and reps that are up for grabs?
Yeah, so this past season was the first time to see some of the guys that we started with and grew from the beginning have that opportunity to go to the NFL draft. Jordan James, Josh Connolly, both those guys were drafted after being with us for 3 years. But now this is the group that's really been with us for 4 years, and it's exciting to see. It's definitely exciting to see.
When we spoke on signing day on CBS, you were really excited about Decorian Moore. How was he for you in spring, and what are you expecting out of the freshman receiver this year?
Well, he's what's to be expected, right? He's a guy that can make dynamic plays. He's a learner. He wants to be coached. He goes out there and he works really hard every single day. And then every once in a while you see him make a play and you're like, how is that possible? How'd you do that? And I'm really excited about what he brings to this team, his competitive nature, his attitude he steps on the field with every day. So it's going to be a fun season watching him.
Player I'm really interested in learning about is, you mentioned, Josh Connolly is gone. You have two new tackles. Isaiah World, the transfer from Nevada.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about him? Because I've seen in mock drafts, he's already being projected as like a top 10, top 20 pick, and he hasn't even suited up for you guys yet. So what are you seeing in practice so far from this kid?
Well, we've all seen a lot of mock drafts, right, that don't always get executed the exact same. So I would tell you that just like and I know, Isaiah is not really that focused on that piece. He's excited about what it's going to take to get to that point. He's an unbelievable teammate. This guy walks in the building every day with a smile on his face. He has a history as a basketball player in his background, so that's why you see a guy that's so athletic at his size, and he can move bodies. God doesn't make a lot of people that look like him, and he's had a great spring, had a great summer for us, so excited to see what he does.
A little bit of I don't know about off-the-wall thought, but back in February, you shared your son Niles, the stop-motion video that you put together. It was awesome. It was really good.
Yeah,
and I guess I wanted to know, number one, did you watch how meticulous and how long that process was? And number two, is that kind of like putting together a game plan on Saturdays with like every single detail has to be absolutely perfect to make it happen?
I've never thought about it like that. He's got great patience. I don't know if I have the same patience that he has. But, I released that one video, but he's made a ton of those.
Oh, I'm sure.
He's written, the other day I walked into his room, and was it Minesweep or what's the
Minecraft.
Minecraft. Yeah. He's like, Dad, did you see the Minecraft movie? I said, no. He goes, well, I really didn't like the script, so he started rewriting the script.
Love
He's
that.
typing. I'm like, how far are you? He's like, oh, I'm just getting started. I was like, well, how many pages? He goes, well, it's 12 right now. This guy's, just turned 14. So he's just what I want for my kids is them to chase their passion.
Yeah.
Like, whatever you're passionate about, I want that to be. Of course, I'd love to see them all playing football, but my youngest plays football. He's into movies. Niles is into movies and writing and creating. My oldest is in the band. So they all have their own interests, and it's fun seeing them all elevate and chase greatness.
That's awesome.
Wildly successful year for y'all last year. Obviously, first year in the Big Ten, and you go and win the Big Ten. But what lessons can you take as a coach from last year you can apply going forward? Like, what did you learn?
I mean, you learn a lot every single year. And, you get this question throughout the day a couple of different times. But I don't know that there's anything hard truth to say, like, this is the one thing. If we do this one thing, football encompasses so many things. I think what I've learned more than anything is, like, relationships still matter. Right? You have to have great relationships with your players. You have to have great buy-in, and you have to have players that execute at a really high level because they believe in what they're doing. We've had that here in Eugene. We're really close. So it kind of goes back to what I've said earlier today. It's about doubling down. It's about attacking our process and doing it at an even higher level.
You mentioned earlier today during your press conference about the idea of ending the season earlier, maybe around January 1st. What's the impetus behind that idea?
Well, I think we're trying to serve two different situations here. One, we say we want the playoffs, and then one, we say we want bowl games, right? And the reality is, do we want playoffs? Just so we know, playoffs exist in almost every other sport, and they don't look at all like our playoffs, right? So why don't we just play every single Saturday, reserve that for college football? I think the season, most people's semesters, ends around Christmas break and the New Year's. The 1 month that you get to go out as a coach and recruit is the month of January. Well, not if you're still playing in playoff games. Right, so it'd be great if the season ended. We have week 0 games already. Why not start the season closer to week 0? We have 2 bye weeks. We used to always have 1. Right? Let's have 1 bye week later in the season. Let's go right into championship games, or even remove those potentially and get right into the playoffs.
It would also pair nicely if they move the portal.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
If you have new kids starting school, they're starting school, and you're actually still playing the season. That's a little bit different. Or how do you go recruit them? Right? If you're still competing in the playoffs, you're not going to go on the road recruit. Well, as a head coach now, we can't go out in May. You can't go out in December. The only time you can go out is January. Well, you're not going to go out.
Rule, right?
Yeah, you're not going to go out if you're not going to be able to go out if you're still competing and playing for your team. So, in my mind, college football makes sense to end earlier. And maybe it's not January 1st, but it certainly isn't January 25th or January 20th.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think you read your
maybe you did. My proposal, I had a playoff proposal that has the season ending earlier.
Well, what do you think about playoff games being played at the schools as well?
I want them on campus.
All the
as many
way.
as possible.
So, again, like I said, we're trying to serve two different things. And bowl games are great. I've been a part of unbelievable bowl games. But that's a different format, right? If the format is a playoff, which exists in FCS football, which exists in a lot of other sports, there is like kind of a standard that's been laid out. This is what it looks like. Why not follow that standard?
I mean, I think I know your answer to this one. I love the Rose Bowl, but where would you rather played last year?
I would have
Rose
been all right.
Bowl or at Autzen?
I would have been all right with being in Autzen.
Yeah.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
When you think about your relationship with Dante goes back to the recruiting process.
Yeah.
How have you seen him grow? What have been some of the things that have stood out to you?
Just the level of maturity.
Yeah.
The level of maturity that he has. And not that he was ever immature, but I think that when you get exposed to what our players get exposed to in college football and the noise and what exists, you start to have different levels of empathy for those players, and then you realize that their emotions change over time. But you look at a guy that was so hungry, so eager to go play. I think that there's a level of maturity that says this guy's going to come here knowing that Dylan Gabriel's probably got the upper hand to be the guy that played this year, and he's saying, hey, that's a chance for me to grow, watch, learn from a great player, and be able to lead into a future career for myself.
With the new playoff format, Ryan Day talked about this a little bit yesterday, but the concept of pacing and maybe kind of dancing around, it's like load management like the NBA does in NFL. Like, do you have to coach it differently with the perspective being a 16 or 17 game season?
Well, there's definitely differences. I think each team's different. You want to try to lay out somewhat of a roadmap and say, hey, this is our current plan, but that's where the communication with your sports science department, your strength staff, being able to evaluate and test your guys throughout the season for injury risk, whether it's hamstring strength or jump testing numbers, like that has to impact how you practice at the end of the year. So there's certainly some adaptations that happen, but a lot of those happen based on information you get. So you got to just be ready to change.
You mentioned earlier you were excited to visit some new venues this year that you haven't seen yet. Which one are you most excited to see?
Well, I think the only one I haven't been to, I'd take that two. I haven't been to Northwestern, and I haven't been to Penn State. I got to experience Iowa before.
A little bit different atmospheres, I'm just going to tell you.
They're not the same?
No, they're not. Although one, I will say, playing right on the lakefront, kind of cool. But
And this is the last year that happens, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, that's going to be a one-for-one, right? So getting to experience that. Penn State, I've never been to. I've been to Rutgers before. I know we'll be there. So, yeah, excited to see some of those places.
What did it mean to you? I was in Ann Arbor, and y'all are coming off the field, and there are so many Oregon fans that have all made their way. They're down to the tunnel. Players are going crazy. Do you see that impact as you're going around, just whether it's your fan base traveling or Oregon fans, the true national impact, national brand of Oregon football?
Yeah, and I think Oregon's had a reputation as a national brand for a while, but now to get to play in a conference that truly is a national brand, I think that's only supported us and enhanced that opportunity. We've always recruited the nation, right? But we've primarily played on the West Coast. Now having the opportunity to play on the East Coast, the Midwest, and the West Coast, I think that's created some great opportunities for us and that brand to grow.
You've been pretty blessed to have the same coaching staff, assistant coaches for a while now.
Yeah.
How have you seen them grow and evolve?
Man, every one of them improves. They challenge me every single day. I think we got some future stars when it comes to head coaching opportunities at some point for some of these guys. You look at my mirror, I always write my goals in my mirror, and at the top of my mirror, it's like help my people reach their dreams and goals. Like these guys have worked so hard and been a part of what we've created here at Oregon that I want to have those same opportunities happen for them. But what's happened in turn is we've made this so good and this situation has become so awesome here that they're not really anxious to leave, right? We've got a really great product. We've got great opportunities. It's an awesome place to raise your family. So it's created a really great dynamic for us.
We were talking about the Dylan and the Cleveland opening, the Cleveland quarterback battle. Quite a hot topic of conversation in the NFL scene.
Well, what else are you going to talk about in July?
Yeah,
nothing.
Well, stop motion videos, things of that nature. Have you maintained a line of communication there?
Yeah, my wife actually just saw his fiance this past week. So my youngest son went and played a flag football tournament over there in Ohio. So I think they got to stop by and catch up. But we're really proud of Dylan. We're proud of all of our guys that have gone on to the NFL and excited to see what they do this season and in the future.
10 was a program record, right?
10 was a program record. Year before that was 8, and that was a program record.
That's right, that each year.
So, given that you had so much NFL talent on the team last year, who were some guys, first-year starters, that our fans at home and your fans at home should be looking out for to know?
So I always get this question, and you guys always hate this answer, like, watch the games. I don't know. Like, I'm excited to see what shows up, but I'm not going to make any false predictions. Like, you guys have mock drafts. There's no mock. Hey, this guy's going to be really good. I do think we have some elite players that are going to really show up, but I'm kind of reserving that for game day.
The most important question I have for you right now. Will Puddles let you ride the motorcycle?
Would I ride the motorcycle, I think, is the more important question. At one point during COVID, I was convinced I was going to get like an Indian motorcycle. I think I just watched Benjamin Button. I was like, man, that looks so badass. Right? But I'm sure I could ride it if I asked.
I would
question
try
is,
to
would I
ride
ever
it.
ask?
That would be the first thing I would be doing. I was like, can I ride the bike?
My motorcycle phase is kind of come and gone.
But you had one?
No. Like,
Okay.
Like in my mind.
Yes, like your interest in getting out on.
I mean, I was excited, but yeah, it's kind of come and gone.
Yeah.
You see one motorcycle crash, and you're kind of like, I'm good.
I don't know if I've got that dog in me. I've got a lot of relentless energy, Dan, but I don't know if I can get on that bike like that. He is Dan Lanning, the head coach, the reigning Big Ten champion Oregon Ducks. Dan, thank you so much once again for spending time on the Cover 3 podcast.
Appreciate it.